In the land of the free and the home of the brave, where choices abound from cereal brands to streaming services, there's one choice that's surprisingly limited. Welcome to the great American two-party system, because sometimes too many options can be overrated, right? Our wig-wearing, quill-scribbling founding fathers had a bit of a phobia, a distrust, if you will, of political parties. They saw these parties as factions that could lead to domestic strife and division. They dreamed of a utopia where everyone could just get along and debate policies in a civil manner, but as we all know, reality often has a way of laughing in the face of our dreams. Cracks began to show in this dream while our first president, George Washington, was in office. Factions began to emerge, like pimples on a teenager. In his farewell address, President Washington advised against the dangers of political parties, and like all well-meaning advice throughout history, it was promptly ignored. Enter the Federalists and the Democratic Republicans, the OGs of the American political party scene. It was like choosing between Team Hamilton and Team Jefferson on the schoolyard, except with more debates about national banks and less about who was better at dodgeball. On one side, there were the Federalists like Alexander Hamilton, who believed in a strong central government. On the other side were the anti-federalists, also known as Democratic Republicans, like Thomas Jefferson, who championed states' rights and feared that a powerful central government could become tyrannical. After setting the stage with the Federalists and the Democratic Republicans, the American political landscape didn't just sit still, it evolved, transformed, and at times ran through the mud in a journey that would make any history book blush. As the years rolled by, the Federalists found themselves out of favor, like last season's fashion, disappearing into the annals of history. In their place, new parties sprang up, with the Democrats eventually tracing their lineage back to those early Jeffersonian roots, embracing the mantra of states' rights and the common man. Meanwhile, the Whigs entered the scene only to take their own exit stage right, making way for the rise of the Republican Party in the 1850s. Founded on the ashes of anti-slavery movements, the Republicans would soon find their champion in Abraham Lincoln, a name synonymous with unity and emancipation. But the plot thickens as over time the parties seem to dance a strange tango, swapping ideologies like partners at a ball. The Democrats, once the champions of the agrarian South, slowly morphed into the party of progressive ideals and civil rights. The Republicans, born out of the abolitionist movement, took up the mantle of business interests and, for some, a more conservative social agenda. Through wars, economic booms and busts, civil rights struggles, and technological revolutions, these parties adapted, fought, and reshaped themselves in the image of an ever-changing America. Today, the Democrats and Republicans stand as the two behemoths of American politics. Their evolution from the days of Hamilton and Jefferson is a story of adaptation, reflection, and yes, sometimes division, but always underpinned by the relentless march towards a more perfect union. Fast forward through a few decades of growing pains, and the two-party system became as American as apple pie and, well, arguing about politics. The parties evolved, names changed, but the essence remained. A this or that choice, left or right, red or blue, us or them. Why did it stick, you ask? Well, our electoral system plays favorites with winner-takes-all contests. It's like being in a game show where second place gets you a lovely parting gift of absolutely nothing. It encourages coalitions before the election, making sure the party is, quite literally, over before it began for anyone not wearing the right team colors. Now, imagine you're at a grand dinner party, a gathering so diverse it mirrors the fabric of our nation. The night's going well, and then comes the moment to decide on dessert, the crowning jewel of the meal. But here's the catch. Only one dessert will be served, the one that gets the most votes. The candidates are as varied as they come. A luxurious chocolate cake nominated by one party, a refreshing scoop of vanilla ice cream as the charming outsider, and, for the veggie lovers, a plate of celery, the other party's nominee. Here's where it gets interesting. Chocolate cake is a crowd favorite, a dessert that's won hearts for generations. Celery, while an interesting choice, has a surprisingly strong following among the health-conscious. And then there's vanilla ice cream, the outsider, with a simple appeal, yet seemingly not enough to sway the masses. As a fan of vanilla ice cream, you face a dilemma. With chocolate cake enjoying widespread popularity and celery rallying the veggie enthusiasts, the chances for vanilla ice cream seem slim. Voting for your true preference might inadvertently tip the scales in favor of the least desired option. This is the essence of the winner-takes-all system. With only one dessert to be served, voting for the outsider feels risky. It's a scenario where choosing what you genuinely want might lead to a result you least prefer. Chocolate cake could take the win, or, in a twist of fate, celery could emerge victorious. The strategy then becomes about voting not just for what you love, but also against what you fear. It's a dessert dilemma that mirrors the complexities of our two-party political system, where the fear of wasting a vote on an outsider can steer the outcome towards one of the two main options, the lesser of two evils. And let's not forget the human element. We love a good rivalry. Yankees versus Red Sox, Coke versus Pepsi, and of course, Democrats versus Republicans. It's in our nature to pick sides, even if the choices are somewhat less than thrilling. So here we are with our two-party system, where every election season we're reminded of our vast choices. It's a bit like being stuck on a desert island with only two kinds of canned food. Sure, you might prefer one over the other, but at the end of the day, you can't help but dream of a little more variety. But fear not, for within this system lies the power of the people. Every vote is a voice, a chance to steer the ship of state, even if sometimes it feels like choosing between the lesser of two evils or deciding which sock to put on first. In the end, the two-party system is a bit like a family dinner during the holidays. There might be disagreements, someone might pass the salt a bit too aggressively, but at its best, it's about coming together, finding common ground, and maybe, just maybe, passing the gravy without starting a food fight. So, whether you're Team Elephant, Team Donkey, or dreaming of a Team Unicorn, remember, in the grand, confusing, sometimes maddening tradition of American democracy, your voice matters. Let's make sure we use it, and who knows, maybe one day we'll find a way to expand the menu. Thanks for joining us on this whirlwind tour of America's two-party system. Remember, history isn't just about where we've been, it's about where we're going together.